Hello and welcome. If you've been on this channel for quite a while, you know I mostly veganize French recipe because I'm French and that's what I know how to do best. Today we're going to do something different but similar, a vegan mozzarella. I've made this so many times for so many different people and I've been told by many non-vegans that they wouldn't have known this was vegan if I wouldn't have told it. So this is a high protein vegan mozzarella. It's super similar, it melts, it's delicious, and it's an easy recipe. Also, we're gonna make 4 different recipes with this vegan mozzarella in the second part of the video. But before that, I would like to ask you to subscribe and like this video. It helps this video gain visibility in the YouTube algorithm. So for the recipes we will make with it, we're making a caprese, we're gonna make a pizza dough, we're gonna make a pizza with a no-weight dough and an oil-free version of this vegan mozzarella. We're also going to make mozzarella stick and last but not least grilled aubergines, which are delicious for a barbecue as well for a starter or side dish. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I loved making it, and let's dive in! In a food processor, put a block of silken tofu, not regular tofu, but silken tofu, otherwise it won't work. 2 tablespoons of tapioca flour or tapioca starch. This makes the cheese able to melt and stretch. 5 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. I know some people might say it's a lot, but you need this to get the cheesy flavor. I use nutritional yeast all the time. It's not dangerous, as some people claim on the internet. More on that on the link in the description. It brings extra protein, vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. 1 tablespoon of garlic salt. This is a mix of garlic powder and salt. The salt is because the cheese is salty, and the garlic is for the depth of flavor. If you don't have this, take 1/3 of a tablespoon of garlic and 2/3 of a tablespoon of salt. 1/2 teaspoon of white pepper. This is for the pungy taste. But this one is optional. I tried it many times without white pepper and it also tastes good, but it is better with. 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard for the pungent taste of the cheese. 1 tablespoon of lemon juice or white wine vinegar for flavor and acidity. Here I use white wine vinegar. 4 tablespoons of coconut oil. You want to melt it by putting it 30 seconds in the microwave before putting it in the food processor. This is for the fattiness, but also the meltability of the cheese. Instead, coconut oil is liquid when warm and hard when on room temperature. Make sure to use the refined coconut oil, otherwise it will have a taste of coconut. The refined one doesn't. And 1 teaspoon of agar. Agar, it's for it being firm and meltable. This is a algae-based vegan gelatin. Mix until smooth. The time for it depends on your blender. For me, it's like a minute. Then transfer to a non-stick pan. Put it on middle heat and mix continuously until it becomes firmer. When you're almost done, do a taste test. You can add more salt, more garlic powder, more Dijon mustard, whatever you feel is lacking, and then mix again until it becomes homogeneous and sticky like a ball. Then you can do 2 things, depending on if you want to consume it immediately or after a while, and have this round ball form that you see on the thumbnail. So if you want to have it as a ball like on the thumbnail, put some parchment paper in a bowl and put a part of this mix inside. Then close it with an elastic. Here is one for my hair. Make sure it's clean though. And put it in the fridge for at least 3 hours or in the freezer for 30 minutes before enjoying it. But if you want to use it immediately, you take a bowl with cold water and you take the vegan mozzarellas out with a spoon that doesn't damage the pan and put it in the bowl so that it cools down rapidly. You can take them out of this bowl after like 2 minutes. You can also put ice cube in this bowl, then it will go even faster. Well, you choose what you prefer. And here we have the mozzarella. Delicious, sliceable, and now I'll show you some recipes with it. The first recipe we'll dive into is the caprese. I hope I pronounced it right, I'm not quite sure. But this recipe is super easy. It's just you cut up some tomatoes You cut up some vegan mozzarella, you put some pepper and some salt on it, you put some basilicum in between, and you serve it with oil and balsamico. I use balsamico with a thick taste. It's nicer if it's a little bit thicker, the balsamico. And now we'll move on to the pizza, where we start with the alternative version to the vegan mozzarella. So I'm going to show you how to make a basic but delicious pizza with almost no waiting time for the dough and an easier version for the cheese. The pizza tastes delicious, but tastes even better with black olives, but it looks less good. Two versions to show you the difference, but you can add whatever you want. Grilled aubergine and grilled mushroom being the most delicious in my view. So we start with the simplified vegan mozzarella that doesn't need to be firmed up and then melted down again. Instead of that, we're just gonna make it melted and put it melted on the pizza. So you use the same ingredients than in the last mozzarella, but you leave the two last ones out. Them being the agar and the coconut oil. Instead, you put 1/3 of a cup of non-dairy milk, which is non-sweetened, or just 1/3 of a cup of water. If you wanted to have the fattiness of the cheese, you just put 4 tablespoons of melted coconut oil, just like in the last version. And you transfer to a non-stick pan and put on medium heat and mix regularly. If it gets too thick, add another 1/3 of a cup of water. Mix continuously until you have a homogeneous structure that is stretchy. Also note that we add a little bit more liquid than for the other mozzarella, the hardened one that I showed you previously. So it's important to do a taste test when it's already almost done. So when the tapioca starch is already activated. I added some extra nutritional yeast for a more cheesy taste and some extra salt. You mix continuously on middle heat during the whole time. If it starts to form lump, just lower the temperature and accelerate the whisking, and the structure should get back to homogeneous. Now put this aside, and we're gonna make the pizza dough. For the dough, take 1/3 of a cup of medium warm water, put half a package of dry yeast, this being 5 grams or USA measurements 0.2 ounces, not quite sure, check in the description or in the comments please. And a teaspoon of white sugar. This will make the yeast grow faster because it will use it. Mix it and let it sit for about 7 minutes. Then in a big bowl, put a cup of flour, a teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of salt, and a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. Add the mix with the yeast in the bowl. Mix this with a spoon and then knead it briefly until smooth, until forming a ball. Cover it and let it rest for another 7 minutes. Then transfer to a lightly floured surface and use either your hands or a rolling pin to work the dough into this round shape. I like the sides to be a little bit thicker, so I fold the edges, but you don't need to do that. Then put this dough in the oven for 5 minutes, then take it out and put the pizza sauce on it. Mine is with oregano. And then put some olives, whatever you want, and the vegan mozzarella, then put it in the oven again. And there you have your delicious vegan pizza. Now let's make mozzarella sticks. We make the first version of the mozzarella again, but we put it in a rectangular container to not have any waste. Then we cut this in a smaller rectangular shapes and dip them first in flour, then into aquafaba, which is the soaking liquids of chickpeas or beans. Mine comes from the kidney beans can. And then we dip it into breadcrumbs. Repeat this process for 2 to 3 times and then saute them with extra virgin olive oil in a pan, but you can also fry them. By the way, the white sauce here is my vegan boursin turned into a dipping sauce by taking 1/4 of a cup of vegan boursin, 1/4 of a cup of non-dairy milk, and a teaspoon of garlic salt. The link to this easy boursin is in the description. And last but not least, let's make grilled aubergine. In a small bowl, mix extra virgin olive oil, salt and pepper. Wash and slice the aubergine. Put them on a parchment paper. Put this parchment paper on an oven rack. and brush this mix on both sides of the aubergine. Then put this in a preheated oven for 15 minutes on 240 degrees Celsius, which is 464 Fahrenheit. Then take them out, put some tomato puree optionally, and put the vegan mozzarella and put it back for 5 minutes in the oven. You can also use the first version of the mozzarella, meaning not the one that is used for the pizza. In that case, this is how it looks. Well, you've made it all the way through. Congratulations! I hope you'll make this recipe. It's really good and it's not so difficult. I made different vegan cheeses on this channel. Some are creamy, some are firm. The one that tastes more similar to cheese is the vegan boursin. It's also super healthy because of the herbs, and there's a video with it with also many easy recipes. Feel free to leave in the comments suggestions of recipes that you want to see veganized, especially if they're French. Well, I hope you make this vegan mozzarella. Let me know how it is. And for now, happy cooking and bye bye!